Tell me about the sex trafficking investigation.
Never again. Having done the buying children investigation, it struck me that me and Tony the cameraman, we could have been paedophiles. The Romanian government said you would never have got the children out of the country. Well, we all know that traffickers get human beings out of countries and into other countries. I'm not a trafficker, I don't know how they do it. But, you know, I certainly knew it was happening. But it did strike me that we didn't even have to take them out of the country. We think of poor Madeleine McCann and other millions of children that go missing every year. And that kind of stayed with me for about a year. And I just felt the need to look into it further. And when I did, Romania came up again as the biggest source, according to the United Nations, the biggest pool, the biggest resource of human trafficking. Because it's poor, people will sell their children, we already know that. It's a paradise for traffickers. So I went to Romania and again had to set up a bogus brothel and a website, had to grow a beard, and went to Romania posing as a brothel owner. And
sorry, it's just
my life is quite bizarre. But I also had to, before I did that, I had to do research, a bit like actors do research. So I went into British brothels, pretending to be interested in a girl, and making my excuses and leave. We all love that saying in the business. Because I needed to know how much girls cost, what services are offered, how brothels work. I mean, I really have never been in a brothel before, so I had to go and find out and do a lot of research. So when I was meeting these real traffickers, I didn't come across as someone that they should be suspicious of, or as a police officer, or even a journalist, because these guys are armed, and they don't knock them out. And I was offered Monica, who was 14. That put ITN in a dilemma. Do we let the police know who are involved, who are corrupt, and never see that girl again and never know where she is? Or do I buy her, take her to safety to a charity safe house, and then be accused, which I was, of getting too involved, overstepping the mark of impartial journalism, and being responsible for a human being? ITN decided that damned if you do, damned if you don't, so we purchased one. And unfortunately Monica died from syphilis, from unprotected sex. But you know, the last few months of her life she was taken care of and shown love, which she'd never seen before. Her parents sold her to a trafficker when she was 9 for a debt. The process then that we found was that once a trafficker like me buys a girl in Romania, you then sell her on to other traffickers in other parts of Europe at a profit. You don't want to keep this girl, you don't want to sneak her into Britain, you'll go to jail. So then I ended up doing business with Bogdan and various others in the Czech Republic who offered me girls like Monica, from 14 to 20 years old, who by this time had completely accepted their fate, that they were going to be prostitutes. And they don't chain them to walls, they don't beat them up, because if you do that, you've got damaged goods, you've got a problem. What they do is they reward them. So these girls realise that if they do have sex with the clients, they don't get beaten up, they get food, they get nice clothes. So they accept their fate to make their lives easier, and then that's all they know. And the process that we discovered, and Scotland Yard and Interpol were just gobsmacked by my footage because it was new to them. They don't actually sell these girls to British brothels, they rent them to British brothels. That makes the girls disorientated about where they are. It keeps the clients interested because there's always new girls at the brothel. And you know, he said to me, you know, Zdenek, one of the traffickers, said to me, "Why would you want to buy these girls? It's like buying a car, you just want to get rid of it. Just hire a car, and when you get sick of it, hire another one." And they flew them out on EasyJet and Be My Baby and all these other cheap airlines. And of course they have European passports, so they can come into the country with a return ticket, they bring them to your brothel, job done.
You've made, last question before I point out, you made reference to, you know, these people don't muck about and so on. How dangerous is all this from your point of view, and the cameraman's point of view?
After the investigation into sex slavery was broadcast, I lived in a wonderful safe house in Holborn with crack addicts, prostitutes and other informants for 6 months, which was a real stress on my wife, who is now my ex-wife, hardly surprising, and my dog Walter. We all had to live there. My cottage has CCTV, I have a phone number that I have to ring in an emergency that's specific to me so they know I'm in trouble. and I never stopped watching them back.
And it's all in the book, as to the public response and appearing in the European Parliament and all sorts of the consequences that have flown from Chris's investigation.